If I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, where you going? It won't be as simple for you.
Yo, guys, it is Old Man G here, back again. I'm joined by the lovely Maisie from Devils United. Maisie, how are you doing?
Hello, hi, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm looking forward to this. We're back with another top 10 Manchester United players weekly. But remember, if you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio for those who will be tuning in or those who will be tuning after the show. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and also check out Maisie's channel, Devils United. The link is in the description. Make sure you head over there and subscribe and get Maisie to 1K subscribers. So it's been a while since we've done this show. Really looking back, obviously you've got the United tier maker here. Our sort of top 10 players. It'll be interesting to see whether things change. We're gonna obviously be looking at the two Villa games. That's FA Cup and League game, the Brentford game, and the West Ham game.
West Ham game, yeah.
Those are 3 wins and 1 draw. Unfortunately, the draw was in the Premier League, which was mildly frustrating. So I think before we get into it, I mean, let's actually even just look back. Let's just go back and from those games in order, and then we can kind of look at where these players should fit. What were your thoughts on the FA Cup Villa game?
That FA Cup Villa game, we was extremely lucky to come out with that win. They had 2 disallowed goals in the second half, Aston Villa.
Yeah.
I actually genuinely believe we played well the first 20 minutes. And then after the 20 minutes, we gave Aston Villa too much possession of the ball. And Aston Villa isn't known for possession. They're known as a counter-attacking club. And at the fact that we allowed to give so much possession away to Aston Villa just really spoke, in my personal opinion. We was extremely lucky to come out with the goal what we did come out with, and that was actually by McTominay, assisted by Fred. And we was extremely lucky that we did come out with that, because the other chances we did have were very poor.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, to be honest, out of the 4 games, I think I would say that was probably the worst one we had, and I think we were very lucky to win that game. Obviously, I think I posted a post on Structure saying McFred wins it, because they literally did win the game, because even though they still overall poor for the game, if Fred didn't give that assist to McTominay's header, I don't really know how else we would have scored in that game, although we had maybe 1 or 2 chances there. Now moving on to the Villa game, the Premier League, where ironically enough, I actually felt we played a lot better than when we beat Villa in the FA Cup, but unfortunately, defensive mistake. Well, you say defensive, yeah, defensive or midfield mistakes cost us in the game. They went to 2-2. But would you say that you saw an improvement between the different games, or do you think it was more of the same?
To be honest, I definitely did see an improvement, especially in the first half. We played absolutely brilliantly, and I actually thought, right, maybe things are clicking in now with Rangnick. We got our 2 goals. I actually thought Varane and Lindelof were absolutely solid with each other. It wasn't often where Lindelof was very weak on his one-on-ones. I think he played superb. But then the second half, Coutinho comes on, and it just it changed the game completely. He scored and assisted against us in his
Mm.
debut. And
Mm.
I think that was the most frustrating person to score an assist as well. And we was very poor in the fact that we wasn't able to defend both of the two Aston Villa goals because they were both under a short period of time too. So I genuinely believe that the second half, it just felt like, oh, we got a 2-0, we got 2-0 advantage. It doesn't matter how we play this second half, to be honest. And I think that's how the mentality and the momentum came. And for me, I genuinely felt like that was the most frustrating and annoying game for me, despite us playing worse in the FA Cup game.
Do you think that? Because I remember in that game in particular where Ragnick didn't make any changes, and I think that frustrated me because you're right. Steven Gerrard I think he brought Coutinho on board, but also made 2 other subs before we even made our first substitution, which was in the 80-something minute, bringing on Lingard and Van der Beek. And do you think that? Because I said watching that game, I was like, we need to make subs. We need to make subs. We need to make subs. You know, the momentum is going away from us and the players are tired. And I felt that Ragnick almost did an ollie there and was like, right, no, I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to stick with this formation, not change anything. I think he brought on Van der Beek, Cristiano, Matic or Fred, then suddenly you might have a bit more stability. Maybe take Fred off, for example, put Van der Beek on, and then take off Greenwood and put Lingard on for some defense, for some pace, but also some defense stability. Because I do think that whatever people say about Lingard, he's still better, in my opinion, defensively in terms of tracking back than Greenwood is. You know, so I have no problem with Jesse playing like a last 20 minutes. He's not going to win a game for you per se, although he did do it against West Ham last time, but he is going to help you defensively. And I feel that it's why, like, for me, Greenwood either comes off the bench or starts a game. But Greenwood doesn't play a full 90 minutes to me because from about 65 minutes to 90 minutes, he gets complacent and exposes our right backs. And you saw in that Villa game that they were coming down our right-hand side and causing us problems. But that's just my opinion anyway.
You look at it though as well, Greenwood, as well as other Man United players, he's one of the players who gets played out of position because he's not technically a right-wing player. He's not a wide player. He's a central forward like Ronaldo and Edinson Cavani. And the thing is, I think both Ollie and Ragnick wants to fit Greenwood in because he's a natural talent. But it's like, where do we fit Mason Greenwood? Because we can't drop Cristiano Ronaldo. We can't drop Edinson Cavani. We can't drop Marcus Rashford, even though that was probably what the initial thinking was at the time. So it's like, oh, we'll drop Jadon Sancho and we'll pop Greenwood there instead. And I think that was probably the most easiest decision for both managers.
We'll definitely talk about transfers on the transfer deadline show at some point. So, but I mean, you know, you're looking at it's going to be interesting looking forward to the summer because you're looking at a situation where United are going to be losing Pogba, Cavani, Van der Beek, obviously Lingard, maybe Mata, and I don't know if I missed anybody else out, and then potentially even Ronaldo if we don't get top 4, you know. So although we're saying that we're sort of got a big squad now, we're potentially losing a quarter of the squad alone in the summer, and how are we going to rectify that? So, you know, Greenwood, if we can't, you know, I think people are sort of saying, oh, you know, United are going to get Haaland, this and that. There's nothing to say that United are going to get Haaland. And then if United don't get Haaland, then who is going to be Manchester United's number 9 going forward if all those players leave? It's going to have to be Mason Greenwood. So there is what I would like to see, just going on your Greenwood point, is that if we're not going to sign number 9 in this January transfer in the summer, Mason Greenwood has to be played as number 9 towards the season. You know, because there's no guarantee, especially with how the club runs its finances, that we're going to be able to. We're losing 2 midfielders. We're losing 2 number 9s, potentially 2 number 9s if Ronaldo goes, if we don't get top 4. And we're losing.
I could even lose Martial as well, knowing that he's got a straight loan.
Yeah.
and he doesn't want to be at the club. I
Mm.
actually do, though, have a gut feeling in my stomach that Edinson Cavani might sign one more year with us.
I hope he
I
does.
really do. I really do, because out of
Mm.
all the players, I'd actually be more upset losing Edinson Cavani than I would missing out on Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Pogba, Lingard, and Martial. I'd be upset.
Mm.
I'd be actually
Mm.
upset because he's been brilliant for us.
He's a model professional. I certainly think that if the others left, if we got Cavani to 90, you could definitely see the mentorship thing there between. That's what we need. We need going into the season to be okay. Cavani number 9, and then if Cavani gets injured, picks up knocks, they alternate between the two. Cavani does 9, then Greenwood does 9, and they do it that way. I think to be honest, looking back at it, I genuinely think that maybe that's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted going forward. I think that the Ronaldo. Anyway, we're not going to go into that because that's a thing in of itself. Shout out to Now in the comments, by the way. Do worst
I know.
Now, I hopefully feeling better, buddy, and I appreciate you tuning in the stream. You've been a loyal watcher for me and Maisie's stream, so I appreciate it, man. And I'll be doing some post-match reactions as well, so I'm always happy for you to come on. Enjoying the stream, sitting out now, having a rest. A long day, sitting on a cup of tea. If we can give you some positivity during this stream, man, get involved as well. Let us know your thoughts as well. I have a feeling for me that midfield might be signed in the final week of the transfer window, Dylan Day, where teams will panic. But January is a different though. The summer maybe, but January now.
January though is different compared to other Januaries, and the reason for that is the World Cup 2022. If people want to go on a permanent basis, they will want to go now rather than the summer, so they can pick up their form. Especially if you're from, like, say for example, we went and got Kessie. I'm not that we are. I'm just naming him as an example. If he was going to get a Kessie, I reckon Kessie will most likely want to come now than in the summer. The reason is, he'll want to play in the World Cup for one. He'll want to play for his country if they are in the.
Amazing. Ivory Coast haven't qualified for the World Cup, so
they haven't qualified. Oh no.
No. People think
like Declan Rice. We'll go with Declan Rice instead.
Yes,
Declan Rice. We'll go with Declan Rice, although there is other options there in the CDM, and there's loads of different options. But Verratti could potentially be an option if Italy do go through, because we don't know that yet. But let's do them two, for instance, with Verratti. If Italy do qualify for the World Cup, he's going to most likely want to leave now than in the summer, because he'll want to make sure that he's on good form in this new country, in this new league, rather than go to the summer and think, right, I've only got 3 months here to pick up my form, and is that enough time for me, for a manager to look at me and think, right, I've got the potential to be in the World Cup?
I mean, we have. I mean, I'm even looking at Leicester players now, and Leicester, like Yuri Tillemans, his contract I think expires. I think it might be next year, and then Didi's is 2024 as well, so he's got 2 years away. So, you know, we could potentially sniff around with some of those players, but you're right. There are options, but knowing United, we're just not going to utilize them. I just don't think we are. Even though, like, everything you said, Maisie, is logical, but that's the problem. Our football club is not run like a logical football club. It's not, you know. Noka Breng says, Ivory Coast, yes. I assume we're referring to Ivory Coast, unfortunately losing to Egypt today. So Eric Bailly will be coming back fairly soon, so that's good. He actually had a very good. I watched the game. He actually had a very good game today, and like I've always said this about Eric Bailly. I know people get to say he's injured or not, but the thing that always stands to me about Eric Bailly compared to all other defenders is his recovery pace is so good. Like you can play a high line with Eric Bailly being a centre because you know that he will get back. His recovery pace is so good. Lindelof, Maguire, and even to a certain extent Varane just don't have that recovery pace to get back into position and win the ball back. You know. Right, let's quickly go. Let's get into. Oh, wait, okay. So we said the 2 Villa games. Okay, so thoughts on the Brentford game, and then the West Ham game, Maisie.
Yep. So the Brentford game, very slow for the first half. De Gea kept us in. The second half, we played brilliantly, and it was our academy what really helped us out. That smashing goal off Alanga. Mason Greenwood assisted both by Bruno, because he has a couple of more assists under his belt now, and Marcus Rashford coming on as a substitute and securing that third goal for us.
No, and the West Ham game, again, I didn't watch it, so I can't really give my thoughts on it. But like overall, do you think that the West Ham game was the best compared to over the four? Essentially, what I'm saying is, have we seen a gradual improvement in the way Manchester United have played from the Villa game in the FA Cup to the West Ham game just last week?
Yeah, I definitely do agree that there is definitely an improvement. The reason for that is when you do look at the Aston Villa game, it just felt like we had no possession whatsoever. We couldn't win the ball back. We were getting depossessed so easily. But when we look at the West Ham game, we barely gave Aston Villa we barely gave West Ham a chance. They had one shot on target all game, and we managed to keep quiet of players such as Bowen. He had a very good game, to be honest.
No, that's fair. And to be honest, David Moyes has been pretty good in terms of giving us points. So we tend to do well against West Ham. So I appreciate the fact that we got we had to get the win anyway, because if we're going to be pursuing top four, and top four is going to be difficult, I think, this season. Although I do think that Arsenal are going to. I personally think it's going to be between United, Spurs, and Chelsea for those two spots.
Chelsea's already third, aren't they? So
they are, yeah.
And I think they still got like a 10-point advantage compared to us. So they'll need to lose a couple of games. We need to win a couple of games. Arsenal are losing out on near enough all the defenders, and Spurs, they've got a lot of game in hand. Spurs, I think they've got 4 games in hand, and not all them points are guaranteed neither.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that at the end of the day, like, I think my only reason why I even bring Chelsea into it is because there seems to be a lot of discontent that seems to be coming out of that camp right now. There seems to be a lot of, I don't know why it's there, but there seems to be infighting and stuff going on. So, and while I get they beat Spurs, if you take the Spurs out of the side, they generally haven't been playing that well. So I don't know whether maybe the Spurs is a turn result, although they did beat Spurs in almost every other situation. Maybe it's just Spurs. But I do wonder when they start playing at some of the other teams, when they get into this run, whether we'll see them go back to how they've been because of the some of the stuff that's going on in the background, potentially, So, but yeah, let me just quickly get these comments and we're going to look at the ranking there. So it says, yeah, mate. Man says, I love your stream. You and Maisie, I need the possibility because at the end of the day, I had one of these stressful weeks. Thank God I can get a long line and shut on Thursday. You enjoy that, man. You enjoy that long lie in, man. I'm at work early tomorrow morning, so I envy you, Niall. I was watching it on off. Couldn't stay long because it was halftime in my game for Motherwell, and I want to say hello to everyone. I'm a great person, man. You enjoy your football now. West Ham game, didn't see it, but the score, great goal. But yeah. The goal by Rashford injury time was great, and I think that was great for his confidence as well. Very good for Rashford's confidence going forward, because whatever you say about Ragnick, he has. I mean, fair play to him. He has dropped players. He dropped Rashford, he dropped Harry Maguire, he's dropped players in form. That's why I'm curious to see how he's going to use Paul Pogba.
From what I'm seeing, though, he's supposed to be happy with how Paul Pogba is training at the moment. So I think as soon as Paul Pogba does come available and fully fit, he will be in that starting 11 lineup. But what I would suggest for Ragnick, because on the West Ham game, he used a 4-3-3. He didn't use a 4-2-3-1. No. So I think that would be the best option moving forward, to use that 4-3-3. But based on the current squad right now, put Pogba on the left, Bruno on the right, in the midfield, and then in the middle, either put Matic or McTominay, because I think when you do look at the double pivot, McTominay is much better as a CDM, and Fred is better going forward.
No, I agree. The Van der Beek thing is just still just blows my mind, to be honest. I don't really. That's why I think with Van der Beek there must be something else going on that we're not privy to. That's the only thing that I can think of. I generally think there must be, because it doesn't make sense for for him to just still not be featured. I would have maybe accepted it but Rangnick has already shown that he can drop players. He's dropped Ronaldo, he's taken him off, he's dropped Rashford, he's dropped Maguire. So he's dropped key players that Ollie could persistently play and had faith in. But Van der Beek not playing tells me that under Rangnick tells me there's something else going on. And whether that's Fletcher saying that McTominay has to play all the time and McTominay has to always be there, or whether there's just something that we don't know, because it just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't make sense to me neither, but he's linked to Crystal Palace on a straight loan. So I've always had questions in my mind. Is Donny suited to the Premier League? And that could be a reason why he hasn't been playing. And him moving to Crystal Palace on a straight loan will show to us, is he truly, truly suited to the league? Because there is a lot of players who don't suit the Premier League and they have to get shipped on.
That's true. Right, let's go into the top 10, and we're 21 because still could actually look at the top 10. So this is our top 10 from last week: David De Gea, Cavani, Ronaldo, Fred, Mason Greenwood, Jadon Sancho, Alex Telles, Victor Lindelof, Scott McTominay, and Rafael Varane. Now, based on those 4 games, I guess the first thing is we're looking at is there anyone in particular that's here that you think could move into the top 10?
Yeah, 2 in particular for me, 1 being Alanga and 2 being Dalot.
Okay. Yep, I don't disagree. And I'm looking at it. Obviously, Bays and Maguire's been benched, so he stays there. Luke Shaw, not really. I mean, Matic and what about Matic and Marcus Rashford?
Rashford, he has scored 2 goals, but when I'm looking at it from an overall point of view, when I do look at the FA Cup game, I actually think Marcus Rashford was terrible. In all the games I've seen of Dalot in the past 4, I can't name a bad game, and likewise with Alanga.
Fair enough. Okay, and what about Nemanja Matic?
What games did Matic play?
Matic played against Villa in the Premier League. So I remember.
He was actually started, and he was. I thought he was crap.
Did he play against? No, he didn't play against. No, McFred played against Villa in the FA Cup version,
and then they did in Brentford, and they did for West Ham. So Matic only played 1 game, and he was crap.
Fine, we're gonna keep Matic out of the way then. For those who are watching, obviously get involved. Let them know your thoughts as well as to where you think that certain players should rank. Okay, so basically Alanga and Dalot. Sorry, I'll just get Alanga and Dalot here. Right. So the question is, who drops out?
We'd have to take Lindelof out.
Anyone drops out.
We'd have to take Lindelof out because he's not played, and likewise with Sancho, none of them have played.
Yeah. Because did Sancho not play at all in the last 4 games?
He literally only came on as a substitute, and he didn't really do much.
Sancho's going to have to drop out. He's not done enough as well, I agree. Lindelof obviously had his heart situation, but he did play against...
He played against He played in the Aston Villa game, and he played in the Brentford game, and I think he was pretty good, but...
Yeah.
However, we still conceded 2 goals against Aston Villa, which we shouldn't have conceded. And he didn't play the West Ham game where we actually kept a clean sheet. So that's why I have to take Lindelof out, because he's only played 2 of the games, whereas Alanga's played 3 of them and Dalot has played 3 of them, and both of them have played good in all 3 of the games.
Okay. And is there anyone else? Alex Telles, do you think he still deserves to be in the top 10?
Yes, but probably a bit lower down.
Lower down. Okay. Right. Let's bring Victor Lindelof is dropping out of the top 10 list. And let's bring in Alanga and Dallo here. So, is it reasonable to say that maybe Alex Telles goes to 10th? Or do you think Scott McTominay? Okay. So
because Scott McTominay, he still played a couple of decent games, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Has he done enough to go above, like, say, so obviously you've got Varane and 8th. Sorry, Varane and Alanga. Do you think he's done enough to get above 9th, or do you think he's still there?
No, I think I'm satisfied with him being in 9th.
Okay. So now we have Varane, Alanga, and Dallo. I still think Varane stability there is crucial for us. So if anything, I put Varane further up.
I would put Varane further up, and I would drop a few players who's further up as well on there.
Yes. Greenwood, I think, is one that I think has got to go down a bit. I think.
If I was gonna, Ronaldo has to be one who I'd drop down.
Mm-hmm.
And Fred as well, despite him getting 2 assists.
Okay.
He had 1 assist. Yeah, he's had 2 assists in obviously the 4 games.
Yeah.
But despite him having them 2 assists, there was them parts of the games where he could have done a lot better as well. I would drop him a little bit. I'd probably drop him to. So I probably would put Varane high. I would put Varane higher, and I won't take him. I'll probably put like Fred around 6th, maybe.
6th, yeah, I was thinking like that. Fred at 6th, maybe Varane. Varane 5th, maybe.
Varane's 5th is good with me. Okay.
Varane 5th. Maybe drop Ronaldo to 4th. This is where it gets interesting. Or maybe Varane should go higher. Because Greenwood, for me, would you put has Greenwood performed better than Fred though, in terms of contributions over the last 4 games?
So he's had. I'm just trying to think what he's done. He's had 1 goal in 4 games, and that was the Brentford game. Another player who I'd actually put in, because with Edinson Cavani, he hasn't really played much neither, and I think Bruno Fernandez deserves to go back in.
Fine. So Edison can be. So if you think Bruno's got to come in, who drops out though?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I don't think I know Bruno's been good, but I don't think you can like drop out even Telles, because it's not like when Telles has played, like, Telles has like had any like major. Like, I'm not saying he's been amazing, but he's not had like any major issues. So
yeah, he's had 2 assists so far in the past 4 games. Bruno Fernandez. But that's the only problem. So how many? So even with Cavani, he's only played once, and that was a substitute.
But I couldn't. I don't think you
could take drop him
all the way second out all the way. Yeah, that's the thing. You can't take all the way from second out of the top 10 completely.
I'd probably drop him. I'd drop him probably down to 8th.
Okay. Just from lack of playing time.
Yeah, due to lack. Well, no, actually, drop him down. Yeah, drop it to 8th. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And then what I would personally do then, I would switch the. So I will probably put. I think Alanga deserves to be a little bit higher up than 7th, to be honest.
So
I was still even. Mason Greenwood there, and then I would switch. And then I think Varane actually deserves to be actually 2nd, to be honest, because he's been the 2nd best performer. And I would swap
Ronaldo. Maze, I'm assuming this isn't going to change.
No,
I think we can kind of agree. Yeah, I think we can agree the one constant in this top thing is that De Gea is staying where he is. He's not going anywhere. So
I'd actually as well swap around Dalot and Ronaldo.
you
And
think
I
Dalot's
would
been
put.
better than Ronaldo?
I genuinely believe he has, and he's been
Okay.
all three of Dalot's games. He's been man of the match worthy.
Okay.
And I would put Alanga in third because Alanga has been stood out for me as a very key player for Manchester United. And despite him not hardly having any game time under Ole, he has
Yeah.
shown, being in these 3 games,
True.
that he is a Manchester United player and he deserves that start 11 place.
True. I agree. I definitely think that, and it just goes to show, we have we've had the talent. To be honest, I even think that even Ahmed, given a good, given a good run out, could do that as well. So it's just you need the opportunities. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Before we just review the positions, I'm going to just see what people are saying in the comments. What's your thoughts on this whole Lingard situation? I was watching John and went on his channel, and if he wants to leave, then you should let him. I know he's linked with 2 clubs. Maisie, your thoughts?
So from what I'm hearing here, Manchester United want to sell Lingard permanently, or they don't want to let him go. And Newcastle are only offering a loan deal plus 4 million. But when you look at that, I'm coming out today all this rubbish that Manchester United has estimated Jesse Lingard as 50 million, which is absolutely stupid. But you do look at that and think, why did you not let Lingard go in the summer? Because Lingard going in the summer, we could have got 30 million for him if that was going to be at West Ham or if that was going to be at Dortmund, where he was going to go. And I just genuinely believe that he just got wasted this first half of the season. And I personally wouldn't let him go on loan. I'd say that he should either stay. I should either say that if he doesn't do this loan deal, we are going to lose. We're going to lose him out completely. So I'd say if we are going to put him on loan, try at least get a 1-year contract extension, then let him go.
Yeah, no, I disagree. Something needs to, but again, this is the club. And how many times have we let players go for free? Just like that. We let Pogba obviously go for free first time. Fair enough. We let Ander Herrera go, for nothing, and we're looking like we're potentially letting Lingard and Pogba go for nothing as well, for them to run down their contracts. I don't get why we seem to do this, where we are content in just allowing our players to run a contracts instead of having a conversation with them maybe 2 or 3 years before that happens, seeing if they will extend or not. And if they don't, then they should jog on and potentially be sold, and we bring in someone else in. Simple as that, instead of waiting for that to happen later down the line. So it's just it's dumb. Just quickly looking at I put. Sorry, my computer laptop's being slow. 1 second. Yeah, go. Yes, I put Teller somewhere in the middle. It's a tough one. I think Bernard agrees that Varane should be higher up. Ronaldo is a bit off the ball. Agree, Maisie. I put him down a 6th or 7th. And Nicker Brink says Maisie's right. Dalot has been a top 5 performer in the games he's been involved in. I agree. And Nicker Brink also says Maguire was pretty good considering his standard. Does Maguire deserve to get a shout back into the top 10? Do you think, Maisie, or?
He came as a sort of substitute against Brentford, and then he played against Aston Villa, and West Ham. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying Aston Villa, but he came on for West Ham, played a full 90, and you know what? That was the best game Harry Maguire has done. But despite him playing that 1.5 games, with them people who's on the table, I couldn't drop any of them for Maguire.
And also, to be fair, in that Brentford game, when he came on, we conceded. So
exactly.
There's that picture going around of him, like there's like literally 3 United defenders and 1 Brentford player, and it's just like, what's happening? We shouldn't be defending corners like that. And I've seen it with Maguire a few times where, like, anyway, he's not marking correctly, or I've got no idea. Christian Pazima, shout to you, bro, says agreed with the table. Agreed with the table several times. Dallo deserves to be high on the list, and De Gea is definitely keeper number one. Would you put Lacazette and Arteta out on the list and trust the process? Shout out to AFTV. Shout out to AFTV and the flip-flop Arsenal fans. So would you say that you have no issues with this list? De Gea top, Varane has done his good, Elanga has obviously done his bits to given given that he's an academy product. Dallo has really been good, and I think and the thing that is amazing is that what I think is sad about this top 10 is that we had Dallo was at the club for how many years?
Mm-hmm.
We bought Wan-Bissaka, and okay, fair enough. Wan-Bissaka is. I think there are games where you need to play Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah,
for me,
like the Man City game, for instance, is one
or
you
even
do
just
play
against a very physical winger. If we have very physical wingers, I think that Dallo is still someone I feel like gets bullied a bit too much when he's against I remember when we played against Newcastle, he was just bullied by Saint Maximin. He wasn't able to deal with it. So we need, if we're playing up against a very pacey physical winger like Adama Traore or Saint Maximin or someone like that who's physical but also fast and skillful, you need Wan-Bissaka there, not Dallo, because Dallo will just be done. But in terms of going forward and going on the offense, Dallo's it, and Solskjaer really should have taken advantage of that, I would have thought.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And yeah, I do agree that Wan-Bissaka should be used in some games, but from what I'm hearing, that Manchester United are not happy with Wan-Bissaka and looking at selling him on in the summer.
Wow. I mean, geez, it's just this is why the transfer show is going to be interesting, because I don't know what's going to happen this summer. Who the new manager is, who the new players are, but like this could either go really well or really, really badly. Really badly, because we've got a potential exodus of tons of players going in the summer, and we don't know who the permanent manager of the club is going to be, and we don't know what the structure of it is, the philosophy is going forward, and what Ragnick Saw is going to be going forward. So I guess we'll see what happens. But the main thing is that we get top four, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ronaldo 5th, Fred 6th, Greenwood 7th, Cavani 8th, Scott McTominay and Alex Telles 10. Yeah, I think that's.
I completely agree.
I don't disagree. Yeah, it took a lot shorter than I thought it would, but I mean, I guess the question is like, with some of these players, Sancho. I think the standouts here for me are we know that Van der Beek isn't going to be played. Let's be real, but the likes of and Victor Lindelof will probably come back in when he gets played alongside Varane.
And Bruno will definitely come in soon if he continues his form.
Exactly, but Sancho, and Rashford, even Wan-Bissaka to a certain extent, are any of these players? Do you think that they can turn it around this season?
I think at the moment with Marcus Rashford is much better as an impactful sub, because when you do use him as a starting 11 player, he hasn't been it for me. So I would personally say that potentially he could turn it around, but with Jadon Sancho, he needs game time. He really, really needs game time.
True that, and he's gonna have to get game soon because because Champions League is coming up very, very soon against Atletico Madrid, and we'll obviously do a big preview for that. But yeah, yeah, it's gonna get big. But fingers crossed, we've got a good team coming for that, guys. Macy, any final thoughts before we round up the stream?
Everything looks good with me, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see by the time we do play again, because I know we do play again in a couple of weeks now against Middlesbrough and then Burnley. It'll be interesting to see on who will get in, because I think with Middlesbrough it's going to be such a rotated team.
Niall Kane says, I don't like all this. You have some of the United fan base also have a fan calling Sancho flop when it's a harsh. Yeah, I don't think you can call, at the end of the day, like it's adjustment to the Premier League, and it's also lack of game time. But the thing with Sancho, the worry for me is that we know that Greenwood isn't a natural winger, and I actually prefer playing with wingers. I prefer playing with um, Sancho on the left, and even Sancho on the right, and even Alanga on the left, because
Yeah.
Alanga, to a certain extent, Martial, but definitely Alanga, they are actually wingers, i.e., they provide width and they look to cross the ball instead of constantly trying to go inside and shoot, which Rashford and Greenwood persistently do. But it is a worry for me that the coaching team deem Greenwood's ability so much better than Rashford's that they would prefer playing an inside forward on the right as opposed to Sancho's natural right wing ability on the left. That's what concerns me.
And I know Sancho has been having personal issues outside of it out at the moment, so maybe that could be the reason why he's not been playing a lot recently.
True. That's another thing as well. You always got to think about those things as well, So, and at the end of the day, even Lukaku and various sort of things. There's a lot that goes on behind backs in football, but I think that's why it's so important that depth of squad is also very, very important as well. Chainsaw, hope you're doing well. RDS amazing. Do you think constant stop starts of season give a false image where a club should be? What do you think, Maisie?
That's a really good question for that, and the answer is no. There's only been one team that hasn't actually had any postponed games, and that's Chelsea. So that is the only image you can.
I thought it was Manchester City.
Manchester City's even got a game in hand, from what I remember off the top of my head.
Fine.
But it's only, if you look at the Premier League table, I'm gonna re-get that back up. But if I recall, it's literally Chelsea who has played every single game. Man City has played 23 games and Chelsea has played 24 games.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yes. Yeah, I can't remember which game in hand that got cancelled, but you're right.
Yeah, so they
Chelsea
have a game in hand. I feel like it's Leeds for some reason. A part of me thinks Leeds. But yeah, so every single team minus Chelsea, I've got a game in hand somewhere along the line. And it doesn't give that true image because you need to look at it in this way. Yes, you can't help, obviously, COVID, but you need to look at some teams. They have purposely postponed it because they're missing out on players, which I completely think is wrong. Because you look at teams such as Leeds, their downfall, they've had a lot of injuries.
How have Burnley got 6 games in hand? How is that? But they've literally only played 18 games. There must have been a period when people just postponing games against Burnley. They've got 6 games in hand. Burnley, where are they gonna? The thing is that a lot of these small clubs can say it's better to cancel it, but then at the end of the day, you've got to fit these games somewhere. And the problem is that, a team like Burnley, you're now going to play, especially because you're not doing European football, you're going to play 3 of those games in a week. You're going to have to play 3 games in a week at some point to get those games on top of the games you had,
You look at Burnley, though, with all them games in hand, that could put risks on there of Everton, for instance.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still surprised that, you look at that and you're like, okay, they've got 2 games in front of, Watford, Newcastle, etc. It's not saying that they're going to win them because I still think Burnley are going to go down because they sold Chris Wood. They're basically the informed striker, So if you're going to leave a relegation battle, you need to defend well and you need to score. And what surprised me about Burnley against United was whoa. I was like, what happened to Burnley's defense? I don't understand. The defense is just bad. All of a sudden, and if they're not scoring goals, then you're going down. Also, Chainsaw, stay tuned. I'm still got to do those videos. They're on the way. I'll hopefully have some time this week to get them to you. Chainsaw's obviously our member, and if you want to be a member of the channel, click the join button. It goes a long way. Amazing, you're about to say something. Sorry.
What I was gonna say is I do agree with Burnley that they will probably get relegated, and it is such a tough one because their game got postponed first against Spurs because of the weather. And when you look at their defense, their defense was so solid, and I do question of what has gone on.
And I think I even heard that Newcastle might be bidding for Tawoski, their other centre back defender. So it's just kind of like, Newcastle. I mean, I don't. I mean, I might potentially do a Premier League mid review show at some point, maybe beginning of February. But I'm looking at the bottom, and it's like either of the teams of like Leeds. I mean, you could maybe even any team from, to be honest, 14th to 20th, in my opinion, is at risk of getting relegated still. It's still too close. I mean, people even thought that Norwich was going to go down. Now Norwich are above the table. And Brentford started well. Now Brentford have like lost how many of their last couple of games? I think probably I'd probably say maybe Crystal Palace. I'm fairly confident that Crystal Palace will be fine. Because Patrick Vieira, especially if Vieira gets Van der Beek,
Yeah, I agree with that comment completely.
Had to work quickly since I have to wake up early tomorrow. Keep the good work, Caucus, and shout out to you, Chainsaw Man. Really, really appreciate it. Last comment from Narcan. Everton, I can see on Brentford get dragged into. Everton, I can see on Brentford get dragged into it if the teams around about them start picking up points, including Newcastle and Norwich. I agree, and it's a shame because Brentford actually play a lot of really good football, but we're now seeing it almost reminded me of Leeds, where they start really good, awesome, lovely, and then they it's almost like you get to the half of this is the busy period of the season when squad depth is important, when injuries, fatigue, and stuff like that happens. That's why I always say that the last 10, 15 games of the season are the most important games, because you've got tons of points, but most teams are depleted and are tired. Does that make sense, Maisie?
Yeah, I completely agree with that comment. And squad depth is everything, to be fairly honest. And this is why they need to look at someone like Eriksen in this transfer window, because that's who Brentford are looking at the moment. They've had quite a fair bit of injuries. They've had Ivan Toney out for a bit. They've had David Raya, the first choice goalkeeper, has been out. The only player I can name who hasn't really been injured is Mbeumo.
Okay. It's gonna be peak, and like I said, I'll hopefully to try and do like a mid Premier League, maybe mid review show, something like that, just to see kind of where we are. I think that'd be quite good. Just want to say shout out to Niall Kane. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. I really, really appreciate it, bro. Really, really do. Thank you so much. I know you did mention it before, but really, really appreciate the support now. Said fine aside to join, mate. Thank you so much, bro. You and Chainsaw definitely have content planned. I have already said that aside from obviously you've got new emojis to use and stuff, the main things, but I guess I'll reiterate for people who are watching in terms of the member-specific content on the channel. Right now, on your level, it's going to be versus videos. So basically, between different football battles, essentially, specifically for members, we'll be doing versus videos for members. I want to try and get a member hangout or football sort of discussion sort of going on, where we just have like weekly topics and we just discuss for like half an hour, and then like a Q&A as well. Those are kind of the things kind of going forward. But for the start, I'm going to be getting some of those versus videos out that you guys will see. And of course, if you guys have any suggestions of things that you would like to see as part of being a member of the channel, let me know. I'm always open to new ideas, But again, really, really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it, mate. And shout out to Chainsaw as well, who's also a fellow member. And shout out to he's got the emojis. It comes up with that. Final thoughts, Maisie?
Everything looks all good with me.
Cool. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Guys, members as well, really appreciate it. Oh, I've got one last thing. See the members thing. Do you invite members on the stream? Is that part? Oh yeah, of course. So what I try to do is that what I'm gonna try and do for members is have a members only stream. So I'll be live, but it'll be like a member specific only stream. So only members will be able to watch the video content, etc. And then it might go onto the channel later. But yeah, of course, by all means, like member or even no member, I'll be sending for post-match reactions, I'll be sending out links. We'll see if we can do something because it's international break this week. So fingers crossed we can organize something. Probably maybe I don't know what you think, Maisie. Would they doing a maybe a mid-season review be a good shout for United to the Premier League?
Yeah, sounds good with me.
Cool. Right. We'll do that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, everyone. Stay tuned and cheers.
Bye.